What's up, Solutionaries? Maj Toure. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Maj Toure Show. Y'all know the rules. When you come in, comment where you from. Tell me what city you from. If you're watching on X, hit the repost button. If you're watching on YouTube, I want you to engage. I want to talk about it. It's a Friday. You just got paid, some of y'all, right? There's no reason to be negative. We got a lot of work to do, but we positive, and we here to talk about serious issues, but get solutions from them. So thanks everybody for tapping in. It's been a very interesting week. We had the crazy chick Amanda Seals destroying hand-picked black conservatives. We talked about that this week. Yesterday we talked about Jasmine Crockett. We talked about a lot of different things, but today story is, I'm sorry, Republicans, but you're looking bad out here. You're looking real bad out here. In this John Bolton situation, that's what we're going to talk about today. You're not looking good, Republicans, in any way, shape, or form. But again, anyway, guys, y'all know the routine. Come through, hit the like button, chop it up. Hit the like button, hit the like button. If you're watching on X, hit the repost button. Share the show, man. Don't be acting like you can't share the show just because, for whatever reason, you can't. And I'm not starting until y'all start talking. Give me some energy in that comment section. American Citizen says, it's not Trump's revenge, it's our revenge, us the American people. And that's what we're talking about tonight. What up, Rob? That's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about Trump's revenge on John Bolton. And I want to be very clear, American Citizen. I want to be very clear. This ain't the American people's revenge. I don't know who told you that. I don't know who in the world told you that this was the American people's revenge. I have no idea who told you that, because it's not true in any way, shape, or form. The American people, objective, balanced American people, did not vote for Trump to go after John Bolton. But I got some notes for y'all. We're going to read. I got some stuff on the screen from The Hill and some other platforms, because most of y'all don't even know who fucking John Bolton is. And that's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate, but it's a reality. So we're going to talk about all of that tonight. Again, guys, try to get 10 folks. Do the super chat thing, but I want you to promote your business. I want you to promote a friend of yours' business. I want you to do all of those things in the super chat. What up, Bobby? Bobby's a member of the Solutionary 9. Throughout the show tonight, I'm going to ask you all to be members of Solutionary University, where we got people talking about health and fitness, getting better at shooting. Matter of fact, Bobby was in a private Telegram group that we got. Private community, about 1,000 folks. Just chopping up and helping each other. And so Bobby and some of the pro-gun guys in the Solutionary Telegram started talking about LPVOs and magnifiers and all of this other stuff. And it inadvertently, if you didn't know nothing about optics or anything like that, you inadvertently got a impromptu class on sights, magnifiers, optics, glass, all of this other stuff. And so these are the types of things that we want to make sure that we're making available to everybody that's in the Solutionary 9. And we want everybody to do that. So before we get started, we're going to let for a few more folks to tap in. Obviously, Bobby's from Baltimore. I want everybody to let me know where exactly you're from. Like Bobby just said, we turned it into Optics 101. And that's just impromptu. If people that were in the group that were just privy to that, and you all are, as members of Solutionary University, you get access to that group. If you didn't know anything about optics, you could have scrolled maybe one or two scrolls and got a sound fundamentals. What is glass? What makes good glass? What is this? Da-da-da-da. And so saying this to say, we want to make sure that everybody is tying in with our community of people that's actually pushing to help each other. We are not here to make people feel bad for not knowing. We are here to share with people. And sometimes in our communities, we forget how much we know and how many other people may not know as much as we do, and whatever our respective communities are, because a lot of people have been studying things for a very long time. And so the solutionaries are in there just pushing and challenging each other. Speaking of which, Bobby, if you notice, Mahagan has been absent from the group lately. Just send her some good energy in her private messaging if you can. And I thought Cyclops was going to jump in there. I shot her a message too, and but we always want to check up on folks. Bobby says, and it doesn't come off like a bunch of know-it-all assholes. It don't. It's guys just chopping it up about the things that they know every so often I'll tap in and be like, hey guys, what y'all mean by that? And then it'll damn near turn into a basics class, man. So I want to say a huge shouts and thanks to everybody that's in the Solutionary 9. Some of you are in the chat, but you're on X, so I can't give you a shout. But or you can't comment, at least I could say. But saying this to say, we want everybody to be a part of it. And I posted earlier today something about an update on what's going on with the Solutionary Center. I'll briefly talk about that before we get into the topic, because I want to let some people get in the chat, because I'm not going to be able to talk to y'all on the show until Monday. So I want as many people as possible. So again, everybody, whatever platform you're watching this on right now, I want you to repost it, especially if you're watching on X, okay? Real briefly, a quick update. I thought it was the end of BGM, and I thought we were done with the Solutionary Center. I posted this video on X. I made it my new pinned post so you all can check out what's going on. The deal from the person that was supposed to buy the Solutionary Center has fell through. So the person that was going to buy it, I don't know if the owner didn't sell it to him for their reasons or the buyer found something else. I don't know, but we got another opportunity. So I made a little 4 or 5 minute video giving you guys a breakdown, updating everybody. But now we still trying to push to buy that building. When certain things show up and I go, okay, you might call it God, you might call it something else, a sign, the universe, whatever. I just need to make sure that I'm still working. So we're still going to push. The classes, in-person classes are still going to be going on, but we still need everybody's support. So we're going to try this weekend to raise $56,000 this weekend. That's 560 people at the $100 donation. If you get some value from the show tonight, be a donor. You don't have to give $100. It's just the easy way for us to count it down. Firearms basics, conflict resolution, de-escalation, stop the bleed, every single class. Bobby was at our class in Baltimore a few years ago. Our class on Stop the Bleed. We did it at the Wax Museum in Baltimore. And so every single one of those classes were free. Everybody left with IFAC, an individual first aid kit. And so we just want to make sure that we're still doing that work. I'm not going to stop. And I really was like, damn, I would hate to get this close to this goal and not finish this shit. I would hate that. And so to be able to raise that much money and give it away to train so many people over the last few years has been wonderful, but I would have hated to have to quit. And we only got $56,000 left. And I say only because we've raised and given away a lot of money over the last 8 years. We have. And so to inform, and we've seen progress in that. And so just to give you guys an update, please, again, guys, go check out the post if you're watching this on X. It's my pinned post after the show. And it'll give you a more thorough update. But this weekend, we're going to push for 560 donors at the $100 level. That's almost impossible. But I think it's possible. And I think it's very possible if we all tap in and if I focus for a weekend and you all share the content. You guys know that Second Amendment work that we do. It's very important. Just because a Republican is in office does not mean that we've won the fight. And the conversation today will show you why that's not the case. Okay? So tonight's topic is John Bolton. Let's read this from the Hill. And again, y'all know that I pull from content that's on the right and content that's on the left. So I got some Fox News articles up here, some stuff from the Hill, and some stuff from the past. But I want you guys to really, really tap in because this is an absolute shit show. Okay? Now, for those of you that don't know who John Bolton was or is, John Bolton was President Donald Trump's during his first administration. He was one of his national security. He was his national security advisor. And he left, I think, in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. I'll read some of this stuff just because my dates might be a little off. But I want to be very clear. John Bolton is definitely a war hawk. He's 1,000% a war hawk. And during the time that President Trump, during his first term, I got to be honest, during that time, Trump was not pushing for let's go to war, the Middle East war. That's why, to me, during this second term, and obviously this is his third time running, but during this second term, he's going real war hawk, especially on the Middle East, involving themselves in Israel, Palestine, and still giving money to Ukraine. Just things that trying to go after Iran. These are things that during his first administration he did not do. John Bolton is 1,000% a war hawk. And the split during that time between Bolton and Trump was because it was alleged that Bolton wanted to continue with the war hawk and go into Iran. You know, they say that the Illuminati and the banking and cartels we need Iraq, we need Iran, we need Afghanistan, we need Syria, we need North Korea, we need all of the places that don't have centralized banks or didn't for a while, okay? And so during that first administration, Trump didn't get us in any new wars. We just got to be honest about that. And that was one of the reasons why I chose or leaned towards Trump on this last situation over the Biden/Harris regime and administration, because they was supporting all of that Ukraine shit and all of that. And so this was the reason why the argument that the split happened between John Bolton and President Trump, where Bolton said he resigned and Trump said he fired him. Okay. And since then, John Bolton has been a tremendous thorn in his side and or a critic of Donald Trump. He has been. All right. And so I want to read you guys what happened here today, this morning. And I'm going to give you guys some history and show you how this is a goofball move. Okay. Let's read this. And again, this is from The Hill. Federal agents searched the home of former National Security Advisor John Bolton on Friday. This was like 7 a.m, targeting one of President Trump's most outspoken critics. The FBI confirmed that there was court-authorized law enforcement activity. Stop for a second. The fact that they have to say it was court-authorized tells you that sometimes they don't be doing court-authorized shit. That is just a Freudian slip on their part. Court-authorized law enforcement activity going on in the area of Bolton's Maryland home. The search was reportedly related to Bolton's handling of classified information. I want y'all to keep that in mind. This was allegedly a relation to Bolton's handling of classified information. The move marked an escalation of Trump's feud with Bolton, it set off alarms for critics of the president who viewed it as a potential act of retribution against the vocal critic. Here are 5 things to know about the search. Related to classified document suspicions, the probe builds on long-standing accusations by Trump that Bolton may have mishandled the classified records, including, as he wrote, a tell-all book about his time in the first Trump administration. Now, I want to pause right there for a quick second, okay? I want y'all to be very, very clear about this. Bolton, when you get certain clearances, you have to fill out NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. I have some friends. Sebastian Gorka is an associate of mine, and he's currently with the Trump administration. He's worked for the Trump administration before. Dr. Gorka, I disagree with him on a lot of things, but he's loyal to the Trump administration, and I get it, okay? But when you talk about certain things and certain people, there's certain NDAs that you have that you can't discuss certain things. Trump, in his argument, was that when Bolton wrote that tell-all book, some of those things were outside of the NDA restrictions, okay? And so that is something that happens, but he told this tell-all book after the separation, all right? Now, again, the argument is Trump wanted to stay neutral and Bolton wanted to be, let's keep going to war. He's a war hawk. And that first administration, Trump didn't have that scent on him. He does now, to me, right? So that's another escalation in the situation. Now let's continue reading. Trump, upon taking office for a second time, revoked Bolton's security clearance. It's a crime even for those with the authorized access to remove many sensitive records from their proper setting, something that could run afoul of the Espionage Act. Agents were seen coming in and out of both Bolton's Maryland home as well as his D.C. office with boxes Monday. I want y'all to comment in the chat before I move on. I want y'all to comment in the chat what this sounds like. What year? What this sound like to y'all? Okay? And if you're watching on YouTube, let's get the likes up. Everybody hit the like button. I see checking in from Philly. Appreciate you. Black Gun Owners Magazine. What's up? How are you? All right. Super Weapons just said, just read the memo, Plan for a New America by Kagan and Paul Wolfowitz. It's basically outlined the whole toppling of all the Arab nations, which ironically, Israel has beef with all of them. That's reality. I'm not a statement of fact in that book does not mean that I'm judging negatively or positively on that fact. Bookworm, what's up? Okay, I'm not. Guys, let's get the likes up. GiveSendGo.com/Solutionary. 560 donors at the $100 level. This weekend is the goal. If you're watching this on X, look at that pinned post when the show is over. We gave you an update about what's going on with Black Guns Matter, what's going on with the Solutionary Center, and I want everybody to support. We fundraising heavy this weekend. We're trying to get this whole thing done this weekend. GiveSendGo.com/Solutionary. So anyway, guys, I want y'all to tell me in the chat what this sound like. Somebody is going to send the FBI to go raid someone's home and says they handled classified documents improperly. Who does that sound like? Does that ring a bell to y'all? Does that ring a bell to anybody in the chat? I want to hear from y'all. We got to engage. We ain't on social media when we talking on the Maj Toure Show. We on social networking. We networking. We're communicating. We're creating solutions to push back against the matrix and the ignorance. As Rob just said, first answer, and it's right. Mar-a-Lago, 2022. Okay? 2022. Damn near to 3 years ago to this date. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. August the 9th, 2022. FBI executes search warrant at Trump's Mar-a-Lago and document investigation. So the reason why I'm saying this is a fucking clown show, and the reason why as solutionaries we are calling it up the middle balls and strikes, we're going to keep developing our superpowers of objectivity, because everybody in the universe said this was the Biden administration weaponizing the DOJ against Donald Trump in Mar-a-Lago in 2022 when Trump was not the president. Everybody said it. Everybody said it. FBI executes search warrant at Trump's Mar-a-Lago. Look at the date. August the 9th, 2022. Okay? Now we're going to hear all of the bootlicking, fake conservative Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, social media pages and curators and influencers. They all about to say they voted for this. Not one of you was voting for let's go after John Bolton. Why? Because all of you were just saying we need to not weaponize the Department of Justice. This is the same group of people that have tried to convince you over the last month or two that the Epstein files is trash, and they got all of their so-called conservative pundits to flood this social media situation and tell you that the years that the Trump administration, when he was out of office and all of the Trump people was talking Epstein list, Epstein list, Epstein list, the FBI is now weaponizing, let me close that. The FBI is now weaponizing the Department of Justice, and this is from CNN. I ain't got no pics. This Department of Justice was weaponized against Donald Trump, and now they're doing the same exact thing. You can go back further. When Obama was in office, and it was found out that the FBI had wiretaps on Trump Towers when Trump was running for his first term in presidency. Remember that? And then Trump said, yeah, they was weaponizing the DOJ, they whoop-de-whoop-whoop-whoop. And now all of your favorite pundits are about to say the same stupid shit. They about to say all of the reasons in the world why this time it's okay. When our guy is doing it, it's somehow fine. It's not fine. In no way, shape, or form is it fine. I want y'all to understand that. It's not fine. Let's go back. Let me switch over real quick. Let me get this, because this is JD Vance. I don't need him on the screen right now. This is a video. So let's read a little bit more. After Trump lost the 2020 race to former President Biden, the Justice Department dropped both ongoing litigation efforts as well as the criminal probe into the first Trump Justice Department had launched into the book. Bolton's attorney, Charles J. Cooper, said at the time that by dropping the lawsuit, the government had tactically acknowledged that President Trump and his White House officials acted illegitimately. Okay? And that's what a good lawyer is supposed to say. I want to be very clear about that. A good lawyer is supposed to say that. But now, all of a sudden, they jumping back into this political theater while Dan Bongino, whom I know, who I've been on the show, as solutionaries, we call balls and strikes, right up the middle. I know Dan Bongino He's had me on his show a bunch of times. Dan and Kash Patel are doing, and let me be clear, I can't even say Dan Bongino at this point, because I'm hearing rumbles, words, mum's the word, that main man is about to be often. Bongino's about to be like, nah, I'm off this. Okay? That's what he's about to say. That's what I'm hearing. So I don't even want to go into, what's his name? Dan Bongino. Let me find this real quick. Where's that lawyer part? I'm gonna read from the top. These fucking videos is getting the hell in my way. But let me, y'all ride with me. Ride with me for a second, y'all. Hit the link, givesendgo.com/solutionary. Support the work. I'm gonna start from the top again. Boom, boom. God damn, y'all. What's going on? Trump, upon taking office for a second time, revoked Bolton's security clearance. Revoked it. It's a crime even though for those with authorized access to remove many sensitive records from their proper setting, including none that can run afoul of the Espionage Act. The FBI has declined to comment on the investigation, and Bolton did not return requests for comment. Now, I want to be very clear. Bolton hasn't been arrested. This is why we talk about these things as political theater. Bolton has not been arrested at all. They done came to the house. They done took the bunch of boxes. He ain't been arrested. They doing the same thing that they did to Trump. Remember when they raided? They raided Mar-a-Lago. They made all of this stuff. They took photos. The photos that they put on the internet ain't have shit to do with what Mar-a-Lago actually looks like. I've been to Mar-a-Lago years ago. All right? So now they dropped the joint. Then his lawyer says, yeah, that shows that they was doing the bullshit. Bolton starts to get more vocally critical. Now here we go again. And the same DOJ is telling y'all, oh, he got classified documents. But now when I jump on social media, because I'm seeing all of the goofballs going, yeah, this is what I voted for. And I'm under their comment section going, you voted for a weaponized DOJ? And they going, oh, it's different this time. See, people as solutionaries, we don't play that game. We can't. And we have to make sure that we're curating and empowering people from our demographic. That's why I keep telling y'all to share the show. We got to make sure that people from our demographics are, in essence, making sure that they're getting proper information on how to go about this. Because the low-hanging fruit will be, they'll run across some goofball conservative page they don't even know the history of John Bolton. All they know is he looked like a fucking walrus, and now he's the opposition, since when he wasn't the opposition to them when he was cool with Trump. Why is that? Because when the person is on the team, you're not going to evaluate their principles the same way. You're going to turn a blind eye. And that's the type of so-called limited government conservative that we as solutionaries have to make sure the new people that we're bringing into the fold, they don't think like that. So it's easy to run into some run-of-the-mill ass Brandon Tatum goofball. Okay? If they do it for you today, they'll do it to you tomorrow. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. I want everybody to tap in and support the work. We got $560 $100 donors to get this weekend. The weekend starts now. I'm going balls to the wall. Pause. All right? If you can't give it the $100 level, give what you can. Anyway, everybody repost. If you're looking on X, I can see when y'all repost on X. Repost the stream on X. So let's read a little bit more. The former National Security Advisor, who served in multiple other GOP administrations, published a memoir in 2020 titled The Room Where It Happened, a White House memoir, that offered a damning portrait of Trump as a stunningly uninformed on how to run a government, foreign policy matters, and geopolitics. I agree with that, and I somewhat disagree with that. I agree with he runs companies and has been doing business in China and other parts around the country. He's got a damn golf resort in Scotland or Ireland or some shit like that, right? But trying to do business and politics as usual, it was not initially what Trump's strong suit was, and that's why people liked him. But saying that he couldn't have international policy as it relates to that, Part of why Bolton said that is because Bolton is beholden to the military-industrial complex, and he wanted war. And Trump in that first administration was like, absolutely not. Okay? So I don't agree with him on this argument about foreign policy, because at that time, at least, Trump was more of a non-interventionist. We had at least some semblance of somebody from the liberty movement telling him in his ear, fall back, bro. Okay? Let's read on. Trump previously tried to block Bolton from publishing the book, claiming the National Security Council review of Bolton's manuscript determined it contained, quote, significant amounts of classified information and violated a non-disclosure agreement he signed when joining the administration. But in later litigation, a judge declined to block its publication. Bolton faced criticism in the lead-up to the release of the 2020 book. Judge Royce C. Lamberth declined to block its publication, but said that the former ambassador likely published classified materials with the sped-up release of the memoir. Quote, defendant Bolton has gambled with the national security of the United States. He's exposed his country to harm and himself to civil and potentially criminal liability, the judge said in 2020. Bolton argued that at the time, Trump's interest in the book wasn't about protecting intelligence, but rather to conceal its deeply negative portrait of Trump ahead of the 2020 election. And I agree with that. Trump does not seem to me like a guy that wants to ever be positioned in an unfavorable light. So, example for that. I don't think that Trump was sleeping with young underage women in the Epstein client files. Do I think he kicked it with, we know that he was homies with Epstein for a while. We know that he distanced himself from Epstein after a while, right? But the rumor is that Epstein introduced him to Melania. And so even if it ain't nothing weird and wacky happen, he might not want that on his brand or on Melania's brand. So he says the Epstein client list is bullshit, or the Democrats put me on it and they faked it and doctored it, all to save face. And I get it. That's PR 101. Okay? But so that isn't far-fetched for me when Bolton makes those accusations. And again, I don't think Bolton's a good person. But what I assess is what I assess. Let's read on. After Trump lost the 2020 race to former President Biden, the Justice Department dropped both ongoing litigation efforts as well as the criminal probe that the first Trump Justice Department had launched into the book. Bolton's attorney said, I read that part already, this escalates the long-running feud with Trump. Bolton served as Trump's third national security advisor during his first term, a role he held for 17 months before Trump ousted him. Now, the argument between Trump ousting him and if Bolton quit, that's forever. It's going to be an argument forever. Okay? In the years since, Bolton has remained one of the most outspoken critics of his old boss. He has weighed in on Trump's foreign policy, his handling of classified documents, and his rhetoric about U.S. elections. At a time when prominent Trump critics receded into the background or were reluctant to speak out for fear of retribution, Bolton was a regular fixture on cable news programs. Trump has repeatedly targeted Bolton with insults. In 2020, he suggested Bolton should go to jail for publishing his book, alleging it contained classified material. This is an attack on free speech. When Trump said it, I remember that. And I was like, that's not pro-free speech. Journalists, people can write whatever the fuck they want. If they write something libelous or slandering, then you sue them in court. Trump's not ignorant to that. You just sue him. You just sue him. That's it. You sue him. Simple and plain. But did he sue him? These are the questions that we got to ask as solutionaries to make sure. I know you liked Trump more than Kamala Harris. I did. But you also got to say most of the shit that Trump is doing, that goofball conservatives are following and supporting, are things that those same Republicans, rhinos, would not be okay with if Kamala Harris or Biden tried it. We got to be objective enough to at least say that. I think that John Bolton, he is a war hawk. I did not like him. And during that time, again, he was only there for 17 months. That was during the time in that first administration where Trump was firing motherfuckers left and right. And I was like, well, that's on brand. He had a whole TV show talking about, you're fired. So he was the third, meaning Bolton. Okay? Let's read a little bit more. The president revoked Bolton's Secret Service protection earlier this year. Mind you, he revoked his Secret Service protection when Bolton was getting death threats from Iran and Afghanistan and the Middle East. I want to be very clear, because Bolton was a war hawk and has not just been around for the Trump administration. He's been sending bombs and being okay with bombing shit. He's been a part of 3 Republican presidencies, and has been doing the bidding of Halliburton and everybody in all 3 of them. And when you weren't doing it, Trump, in the first term, we split. And then he started talking shit, not thinking that Trump would win again. And then he did win again. Now he's back in office. Now let's kick up the thing. And then you get goofballs like, and I got to say, Kash Patel at this point has been extremely disappointing. And he's a fucking goofball to me. Because now you got this morning, when this raid was happening, Kash Patel jumps onto Twitter and says, nobody's above the law. 7 a.m. The weaponized Department of Justice, every single day, Kash Patel looks more and more like a fucking like he caught in a honeypot. So you saying that nobody's above the law, except the Epstein client list motherfuckers, I guess. Tell me where I'm wrong in the chat. Tell me where I'm wrong, y'all. Tell me where I'm wrong. It's a few hundred of y'all in the chat watching. If you're watching on X, make sure you hit the repost. If you're watching this on X, repost. If you're watching this on YouTube, copy and post it somewhere else. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button. Share the space all over the place. Let's read a little bit more. The president revoked Bolton's Secret Service protection earlier this year. Bolton has faced assassination threats from Iran due to his hawkish stance towards the Middle Eastern country. On Friday, Trump dismissed Bolton as a real sort of lowlife, not a smart guy, and someone who could be a very unpatriotic guy. Quote, he doesn't talk. He's like a very quiet person, Trump said Friday, except on television where he can say something bad about Trump. He'll always do that. Boom. Now we jump to Kash Patel. I ain't read all of this, so I'm jumping to it. I'm ahead of the curve. FBI Director Kash Patel shared a cryptic message Friday morning as reports of the raid emerged. No one is above the law. FBI agents on a mission, Patel said on social platform X, not mentioning anybody by name. Similarly, Patel's deputy at the FBI, Dan Bongino, reposted the remarks and added, public corruption will not be tolerated. So I got to take that. I didn't know that Bongino reposted that. These are the same guys that sat there looking like Tweedledee and Tweedledum and looked in your face and played right in your face and said, there's nothing on the Epstein client list. The FBI declined to comment when reached for a response by The Hill about the meaning of the post. Patel received criticism from former FBI officials. Andrew McCabe, former deputy director of the FBI, who's now an analyst on CNN and has hammered the Bureau's leadership under the Trump administration, said the X post was yet another example of, in my opinion, Kash Patel failing to live up to the example of his predecessors. I somewhat agree with that. I don't want you motherfuckers on social media talking about what I don't care to see. And I get it. Social media is a way to shed a message and all of that. But they're using social media low key to curate more support from their base. But the people that are objective see through it. That shit that they're doing in DC, violating the 4th Amendment and the 2nd Amendment rights of the residents of the District of Columbia as it relates to firearms, is not okay. So you getting on the White House social media talking about, yeah, we arrested this many people and there was this 90-something illegal guns. That's clown shit. So Andrew McCabe is correct here. I don't want you to get on Twitter. We make fun of rappers like when they start going Twitter fingers. So I don't want the G-men doing that stupid shit. This is not the kind of thing that any FBI director has ever done. FBI directors don't gratuitously point towards search warrants and the people who are targets of those warrants, McCabe said Friday morning on CNN. I'm also agreeing because this shit shouldn't have even fucking been a warrant. Give me something in the comment section if y'all think I'm tripping. Give me something in the comment section, or I'll open up the lines for somebody to jump in on the show if you want to tell me your perspective as it relates to, do you agree with this social media fake-ass G-men shit? Especially when you're talking about nobody's above the law and you're lying about the client list. Or do y'all really think that the Epstein client list is a nothing burger? Ex-FBI agent Phil Andrews said to News Nation's Morning in America that top FBI officials normally refrain from talking about probes to protect agents and the integrity of the case. I could not agree with that more. Quote, it's unprecedented. We don't see directors. We don't see agents talking about investigations, Andrew said. That is for the protection of the agents. It's for the protection of the investigation and the integrity of the investigation. So he's already clouding whatever this is by making this kind of cryptic comment. I want to be very clear. This is all political theater. All of it. Nothing is going to come out of Bolton's house being just like nothing came out of Mar-a-Lago being raided. And that's the new topic. That's the next thing we're about to read. Nothing came out of the Mar-a-Lago shit because it was nothing. It was just a shit show. It was like some high school, like, children. Now I got the ball. I'm going to take my ball and go home. This is what we're looking at. We talked about this last night as it related to the discussion around what I view as a solid politician, a solid director of anything. These are not serious people. Kash Patel sat on that Sean Ryan show and said day one he would get rid of half of the FBI and make it a fucking museum. Not only did he not do that, he got in there and started fucking tap dancing. These people look like they thoroughly compromised. Somebody gave them an envelope saying, hey, you playing ball or we're going to expose X, Y, and Z. That's what it looked like to me. And they don't even care about the contradiction. To this next point, echoes of FBI search of Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. The search of Bolton's home has parallels with the controversial FBI review of Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, which was also conducted on an early August morning, literally 3 years ago, with the aim of retrieving classified materials. You motherfuckers don't even got a new playbook. Y'all just doing the same thing. In Trump's case, FBI agents also secured a warrant after repeated attempts to get him to hand over records from Trump's presidency, leading to the 2022 discovery of 300 records with classified markings on them. Patel has said the Mar-a-Lago search was unlawful. Patel said the Mar-a-Lago search was unlawful. Oh, it's because it was unlawful, because that's your boss. But the one that you're doing right the fuck now, somehow that one is lawful. Quote, there was no crime. There was no predicate to go and invade Donald Trump's home. We have answered that definitively, he told Fox Business earlier this week. He also routinely bashed the FBI's handling of the matter before Trump selected him to lead the agency. Those same criminal gangsters at the FBI and DOJ are running this Mar-a-Lago raid investigation, Patel told his listeners in 2020 on his show Cash's Corner. Bongino at the time called the search a freaking disgrace. Quote, the FBI is a fully now corrupt organization, Bongino said in 2022 when discussing the search. This agency serves no good purpose anymore. The agency needs to be fucking disbanded. See, the internet allows for motherfuckers to pull up what you said. And what Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and I gotta call them that now, because that's what they look like. If they change and they don't look like that no more, I won't call them that no more. But Cash and Dan are looking like Tweedledee and Tweedledum right now. And they just saying anything. And the FBI page, Kash Patel's page, the White House page, social media pages are posting the dumbest shit in the world. And these so-called conservatives using the same type of energy. Remember, they went and used them same type of social media influencers that's pretending like they limited government conservatives and showed off them Epstein client list binders. Remember that? Do we remember that? That is under Trump's watch. They handed up them binders like they had some shit. Now all of a sudden Trump's saying it's nothing. These same motherfuckers back when Trump was not in office when the Biden term said, oh, the DOJ is corrupt and the FBI is corrupt. It should be disbanded. Now they acting like, yeah, we restoring order. No, you motherfuckers aren't. And I want somebody to tell me where I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. No one is above the law, Mr. Kash Patel. except the Epstein client list members, right? Bolton is not under arrest. If the Mar-a-Lago raid was unlawful and it's based on the same handling, and if you've done all of this research and if you're acknowledging that, oh, Bolton did some things that are unlawful, right? If you really believe that, why aren't you fucking arresting him? This is a shit show. This is a shit show. Tell me where I'm wrong. Biden dropped the probe. Then y'all bring it back up almost on some, oh, we got to get the guy that was talking the most shit about us. Classified documents. August of 2022, damn near 3 years to the date. And I get it. Some of y'all gonna say, y'all gonna sit around here and say, well, Maj, that's different. Y'all gonna say that. Y'all gonna say that. Some of y'all that watch this is gonna be acting like, oh, that's different. No, it's not. The swamp is still the swamp. Y'all, and they're using the same tactics. They just using social media instead of using clown ass DC Drano or whoever else. And I got respect for some of the people that was there for them, but I really believe that Scott Presler really thought he was. I know Scott Presler. I think he really thought that he was about to get some. You know what I mean? I'm gonna get something that really could expose this thing. I think he thought that. I think they all thought that. But now it's proven that it wasn't. How do they feel? Y'all put that person out there. Y'all put those influencers out there and said, we gave them phase 1. And then a few months later, you said, why are we still talking about this Epstein client list? It's nothing. Then why did you give them the fucking binders? It's the same thing. They go look at Gunther Eagleman. Y'all know who they are. I don't even want to give them no love. But go look. This is what I voted for. Iron Barbie, I think that's her name. She follows me. We follow each other, right? We see all of these same people saying the same shit. So if they pretended that something was real with the Epstein client list and then said it's not, why wouldn't they be pretending like, oh, this is unlawful, we got to go after this is, we going to press a dude that was loudest about us and set an example for others to shut the fuck up. That's what this is. This Trump administration has been one of the most massive fucking disappointments that I've ever seen. And I'm saying this as a libertarian that believed in, we got a whole bunch of Democrats that's defected from the swamp. They tired of the swamp and they want to really, RFK Jr. I don't give a fuck about y'all, him and Pete Hegseth doing push-ups and fucking pull-ups. I don't give a fuck about a PR move. We sent y'all in there to find the corruption and drain the swamp. You motherfuckers is the same thing doing PR shows. Why are we talking about this right now? Am I saying that there is no limited government conservatives that actually want to do the work? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying as solutionaries, it's less of us. It's always going to be less principled, constitutional, freedom-loving people than fucking sycophants. Because to be freedom-loving and thinking and objective takes more intelligence. You guys are tapping into the Maj Toure show because my job is to break this down from an objective perspective. Yes, John Bolton is definitely a war hawk. Has been for 3 presidencies. Has been. That does not change the fact that his critiques of Trump, you got to take something that you think is a little bit true, or you could use it a little bit of true. Yeah, I don't think Trump is the best at, and look at how he's handling now. I think Bolton was saying that then because Trump didn't want to go to war and play ball. I think now Trump looks very compromised. But I do not think that Bolton is saying the things that he's been critical of Trump on. No, I'm critical of Trump and I don't dislike Trump. I dislike and or like any public servant that goes into office. I like when you do the thing that's in alignment with the Constitution strengthening American economies, doing the job of the executive branch or whatever seat you sit in. I dislike what you do when it doesn't meet that criteria. You guys are solutionaries. It's going to be less of us because we have to have a different level of thinking in order to even do that. Most of the people that you talk to that's just going to regurgitate the talking points don't even know who John Bolton is, don't know that he was in a part of 3 different presidencies. That's like if you say to certain people, you should read The Grand Chessboard by Zbigniew Brzezinski. They don't know who the fuck that is. When you say this, and that's one of my favorite books, Zbigniew Brzezinski was a very evil dude. I read evil people shit. Diplomacy by Henry Kissinger. If you haven't read it, Henry Kissinger had a outstanding political run and was a consultant to many heads of state. You should read that book. So when we talking about these things, we have to bring them to the brass tacks and get them down to the commonality of how we as solutionaries can utilize these things to empower ourselves. There's people around you all that you tapping into me. They need you to be very, very sharp and concise and help shape their perspective. And I don't mean from a propagandistic perspective. I mean from a perspective of informing them and showing them where to look and showing them see how them people over there on the extreme right or the extreme left are just in their silos and not trying to empower you, the American. You have to be creating more solutionaries. We need more people to do this because this is difficult work. It's not as difficult when you reach people that have not been fully propagandized. That's why I say share the show. Don't just get caught up in me talking. Take a minute and hit the repost button. Support it this weekend with the fundraising efforts. We have to have a holistic approach because the people that are in our circles, if they still around you, they're open to hearing you. Do not buy this concept that, people, it's a done cause. They want us to be blackpilled. They want us to give up because they can win, because you are the last effort. You are the fucking resistance. And I don't mean that like the leftists be saying, we're the resistance, but at the same time, they told you to take the fucking jab. Okay? You're the resistance because you are from a solutionary, patriotic, founding father and founding mother energy, and you want actual freedom and liberty. You actually want limited government. That's why you tap into the show. You know you're going to come and get that. And you know that I'm going to tell y'all, yeah, I know Dan Bongino. I don't give a fuck that he's second in charge over at the FBI. I'm still going to fucking be critical. And you should be critical too. This is 1000% wrong. It's a political witch hunt. It's the same exact thing that the Biden administration did. And this is politics as usual. So when a motherfucker say Trump's not a politician, I give you this as exhibit A. He's doing the same exact thing. And if I'm lying, I'm flying. Tell me I'm wrong in the comment section. Tell me where I'm wrong. The reason why y'all quiet is because you know I'm not wrong. This is not what you voted for. It's not. You watching, let's be honest. You are not one of these fucking extreme leftists and rightists. You are an American that just wants a better life. You want your dollar to not be fucking devalued 96% since the creation of the Federal Reserve. You want the government to stop asking you about a fucking $500 Venmo transaction when the Federal Reserve has never been audited. The Pentagon has never fucking passed an audit. But they telling you about what you're doing with your small business. You are an American that sees the propaganda, as we discussed last night, that a Jasmine Crockett or a Gavin Newsom are about to try to convince you that they're somehow the objective, care about American patriot. You push back against that. You want a solid economic base, and you want them to stop playing with your rights like it's a fucking bargaining chip. I know that's what you want because that's what I want, and that's why you tapping in. But we have to create more of us. My nana used to say, respect the devil because the devil is ancient. You're smart, but the devil has been here for a far longer time than you. And I say that to say, their media, their infrastructure, their propaganda on both sides, two wings of that same bullshit bird, you as a solutionary are evolving out of. I started as a Democrat. I went Republican. I am now libertarian. I'm getting out of all of those different labels. I am a solid human that wants natural law and natural rights to be respected. I want to acknowledge the common law. I want the respect to be given to the Constitution, to limit government, and I'm willing to work with anybody that wants to create that same reality, because that's how we get a balanced budget. Civic-minded, civically engaged, hardworking Americans. We can create them, and that's the reason why they make their propaganda so fucking ridiculous, and they hire these people to get on the same talking points on social media so fast, and they try to censor the pages like mine and some of y'all's, because they know that if the general public is left to truth and left to freedom, they're going to choose truth and freedom every single fucking time. That's what they're going to do. And I want y'all, we all got to be force multipliers in this fight. You either die a Democrat or live long enough to see yourself become an ANCAP. And I know some of y'all hear that word. Y'all hear the phrase ANCAP and y'all like, don't fall for the propaganda. Take a moment to find out what that actually means. What does anarchy really mean? Not like crazy chaos in a political sense. Okay? Do you want a master? Like a public servant? Do you want to be left alone to your own vices? They keep fucking with your dollar. Why? These are the things that we have to work together to finance, work together to shape our mentality, and that's a holistic approach. This is the reason why I keep pushing. Again, if you're watching on X, hit that pinned post above me. If you're watching on YouTube, that on the screen right there, it's in the chat. Jump in the chat. Support the work. Get the likes up. I can't be breaking this all down for everybody, right? Give me some comment in the section if you learned something tonight. Be honest. This is safe space. We all on the same team here, okay? When I'm giving this breakdown, you guys are getting access to my mind and my geek, nerdy-ass mind that I could break down things very, very simply so you can have a better understanding, so you can beat back against the propaganda, okay? You're taking advantage of my years of being a fucking nerd, and it's like the footnotes. It's solid footnotes based on objectivity. And in order to do that and continue to do that, we need your help. We're not going to get the same level of push from the right mainstream or the left mainstream, because each one of those so-called mainstream propaganda outlets, they have a vested interest in just keeping the fight going. It's wrestling. Their job is to make it look like they fighting each other. They ain't fucking fighting each other. They fighting you. And it looked like Trump been compromised. To me, it looked like that whole administration been compromised. And that's why I'm asking you all to tap in and support the work. This weekend, y'all, I gave y'all the update. If you're watching on YouTube, it's the most recent post. I think the video is up. We might have posted it unlisted. But if you're watching on X, I switched my pinned post, and go watch that. It's like 4 or 5 minutes. Okay? It's giving you guys a breakdown of where we are, how we still want to work for you, what we've done with the resources already. Okay? And this weekend, we're going to go hard. We're going to try the impossible. It's Friday. Most of y'all got paid. I'm going to ask everybody to be a donor at the $100 level. Because once we get this fundraising shit out the way, that's a big job, y'all. I then only want to work on the Solutionary Center, not fundraising, the Solutionary Center and Solutionary University. That's online classes and that's in-person classes. And blow that out and making sure y'all get dope-ass merch. That's all I want to focus on. Okay? So let's get as much of this 560, I think, donors at the $100 level. Let's get as much of that done as possible, because your support helps. Like, bro, I want to create a whole camera setup for a dope-ass podcast. We need to be able to compete on the level of the propaganda machine. I've been in all of these studios. I've been in Fox. I've been at BET. I've been at Left Center. I've been on the stage at CPAC. I've been in C-SPAN, CNN. I've been on all of these stations. You know why they're able to get so much dope-ass propaganda out? Because their cameras look fucking dope. And they got a whole setup. I would love to just create content for y'all all day, because we got the fundraiser. So I'm now doing a class, getting people in the Solutionary 9. But y'all got to help me be force multipliers, man. I can't. For me, I'm a dope dude, and I'm always going to be confident. But I cannot do this shit by myself. And I haven't. I'm just asking everybody to pitch in a little bit so we can get to the hump. Fundraising is difficult. So I'm going to ask you guys to do a few things. One, obviously share the show. Duh. I'm a bug the shit out of y'all about sharing the content. Turn the post notifications on. Every time I post, get a notification, just hit the repost button if you're watching on X. Okay? That's one. I'm going to ask you to share the show tonight. I'm going to ask everybody to go to givesendgo.com/solutionary. I want you all to tap in. Give what you can. Every donor that gives $99 or more, you get access to Solutionary University. We're going to give you a meal plan. We're going to come up with your macros. We're going to give you workout routines. We're going to give you shooting drills. We're going to give you all of the classes and curriculums. Bitcoin, that's coming. Know Your Rights. Jason Basler from the Free Thought Project is about to host and be a Solutionary professor at Solutionary University. A Know Your Rights class, a Bitcoin class, welding, okay? All of these things are happening. So every donor at the $100 level this weekend, you're going to get access to that. That private community that Bobby is in and I was talking about earlier, of us sharpening and helping each other, it's instructors in there, it's shooters in there, it's weightlifters in there, it's all types of people in there. All from across a network of people, okay? Warrior in the Garden says, I appreciate the Solutionary Lifestyle channel content also. Thank you, Warrior in the Garden. I appreciate you. Let's get the likes up, y'all. Let's get the likes up. But I'm going to ask you all to do those things, man. And yes, it's going to be about generating resources. Because listen, this shit operate. The reason why Trump is the president is because he's a billionaire. That shit costs money. And we running a campaign. In order to get to that campaign, we need help. If you want, Climber Shadow says Ethereum went up 14% today. Yo, if somebody want to donate in Bitcoin, in Ethereum, XRP, I don't care. Send it our way. We need help. I need to get this damn fundraising part done. And when the fundraising is done, we go to the owner of the building and say, we got another offer for you, man. If he decides to go a different way, that's fine. But we got to finish what we started. If he decides to go another way, we still going to have a big nest egg to do more Second Amendment classes in person. The work going to get done. And we need everybody's help. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. It's the pinned post. If you're watching on X, it's in the chat if you're watching on YouTube. And it's right there on the screen if you're watching everywhere else. I want to thank you all for tapping in. I want you all to stay on your passion this weekend. I want you all to get into the Solutionary University and chase your purpose. We were not meant to be paying overtaxed with very little representation and even less good representation, paying taxes to a fucking demonic pedophile cult that's going to pretend like it's not a pedophile demonic cult happening. That's not what we're on this earth to do. We're here to grow, to strengthen our community, be vibing, raise our family, improve, become elders, share the knowledge, and I want you all to be healthy, to be strong, to be capable of defending and being civically active. And that's what your donation of $100 goes towards. So I'm going to ask everybody to support the work. I want everybody to remember your passion this weekend. I know some of you are going to be off for the weekend, and I'm more speaking to the working class folks. Listen, I know it's hard, man. I know you got pain. I want you to still chase your passion this weekend. I want you to get in the Solutionary University so we can help motivate and inspire you and push you over that finish line, including chasing your dream this weekend. Don't give 40, 50, 60 hours of your life to a job that you don't like just to pay the bills because you're a strong working class man, and don't chase your own passion. I want you to be healthy. I want you to push forward for that entrepreneurial endeavor. I want to help you. I tell y'all in the chat all of the time, if you got a small business, promote it. When you donate, every donor today, in the comment section, just say, hey, I got a small business, or I know of a small business. Put their website in the donor comment so it's on our Give, Send, Go page. One hand washes the other, and both hands get together and wash their face. And I want to challenge and inspire you and give you permission to give yourself permission this weekend to push yourself, to stay on your passion. You are going to win. You are going to create the type of life that you deserve. You are going to be in alignment with what your passions and your purpose is. I want to remind you to stay on top of that this weekend, and I will see you all this Monday. I'm going to get on social media for a little bit. I'm going to engage you guys. Guys, repost, share the show, donate. GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. I appreciate you all. I'll see y'all on social media for a little bit, and I'll see you all that don't engage on social media. I'll see you Monday, same time, same channel, youtube.com/Maj2Ray, GiveSendGo.com/solutionary. Be safe, be solutionary.